Tonight, several developing stories as we come on the air. A driver plows into a crowd outside a busy nightclub, dozens sent to the hospital. Millions brace for dangerous storms and flash flooding, and new details in the deadly explosion that killed 3 LA County deputies. First, the chaotic scene outside a popular East Hollywood nightclub, a gray Nissan Versa slamming into a crowd. 30 people injured, 1 in critical condition. Los Angeles police say it was intentional. People dragging the driver out of the car. Officers say he was beaten and then shot. First responders rushing to the scene. What we're learning tonight about the investigation. More than 58 million Americans bracing for flooding or dangerous heat. Severe storms targeting the Midwest and Northeast. Flash flooding in Virginia, triggering rescues and evacuations. Our weather team tracking it all. The law enforcement community in mourning after the death of 3 LA County deputies in an explosion. What a source described as an old military grenade being moved by the bomb squad when it detonated. The fallen deputies with 74 years of combined experience. Breaking news, the CEO at the center of that viral kiss cam moment during a Coldplay concert has resigned. What we're learning tonight. The White House facing mounting bipartisan pressure to release documents related to the Jeffrey Epstein case. New details about the letter the Wall Street Journal says Trump allegedly wrote to Epstein. The president calling the article false, now filing a $10 billion lawsuit. Israel and Syria agree to a ceasefire. It comes after Israel launched airstrikes and days of sectarian clashes killed hundreds. Superstar Katy Perry's midair scare, a prop malfunction as she dangled high above a crowd during a concert. And the WNBA All-Star Weekend. We're in Indianapolis for a preview of tonight's game and why one of the league's biggest stars won't be on the court.
From ABC News World Headquarters in New York, this is World News Tonight.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us on this Saturday. I'm Whit Johnson. We begin tonight with a chaotic scene outside a popular nightclub in East Hollywood after police say a driver intentionally rammed his vehicle into a crowd. Witnesses reported seeing bodies flying into the air, 30 people injured, 20 hospitalized. Police and emergency crews rushing to the scene. Reports tonight that the suspect had been escorted out of the Vermont Hollywood music venue and then got into his car, drove away, but made a U-turn and crashed into the crowd. Police say bystanders pulled the man out of his vehicle and attacked him and say another individual shot the driver. The suspect is now hospitalized, facing an arrest for assault with a deadly weapon. ABC's Melissa Adan leads us off from Los Angeles.
Tonight, over 20 people hospitalized after a car slammed into a crowd in Los Angeles.
Multiple victims down from Santa Monica, Vermont.
A chaotic scene unfolding early this morning in East Hollywood. Bystanders seen running. LAPD says the driver of this gray Nissan rammed his car into a crowd outside of a club. Senior investigators telling ABC News the driver was escorted out of the club, drove away, and then made a U-turn and drove onto the sidewalk and into the crowd. Authorities planning on arresting the driver for assault with a deadly weapon. Authorities say the driver injured 30 people, crashing into clubgoers, valets, and food vendors at the Vermont Hollywood music venue. Knocking down this taco stand, scattering and wounding patrons in the vehicle's path. Eyewitnesses describing the scene as pure mayhem.
Everyone was looking for their items, their people, their loved ones, their phones, their lost friends. Everything was just scattered.
We're in disbelief because 20 seconds more, that would have been us.
The incident happening at the crowded club around 2 a.m. when the club was closing, and followed by a massive response from rescue crews.
We had a total of 124 firefighters were here on scene. There's about 25 LAPD officers that came out to assist us. So the scene when they arrived was very chaotic.
The LA Fire Department says most of the victims were women.
One was hit by a vehicle, another one had gashes in her entire leg.
Once the car came to a halt, bystanders dragging the driver out of the vehicle, attacking him. Police say he was also shot after he crashed into the crowd. The driver taken to the hospital and undergoing surgery. He is expected to recover. Of the 23 hospitalized victims, one of them remains in critical condition. The LAPD are still working to determine a motive. Several sources saying alcohol may have been involved.
The LAPD is asking for help from witnesses as they collect surveillance video to better understand what led up to this car ramming.
Melissa Adan, thank you. Now to the extreme weather. More than 58 million Americans bracing for flash flooding and dangerous heat. Flooding prompting evacuations in southwest Virginia. Heavy rain also battering parts of eastern Iowa, triggering flood watches across the region. Let's go right to meteorologist Danny Beckstrom from our New York station WABC. And Danny, more dangerous storms on the move.
Yes, let's start with those severe thunderstorms firing up as we speak. Right now, a tornado watch in effect in Nebraska until 11 p.m. local time, and a severe thunderstorm watch for a portion of North Carolina, Virginia, and Maryland until 10 p.m. The main concerns for the mid-Atlantic are damaging winds and large hail, but heavy rain also possible as part of that widespread flood threat for the eastern half of the country tonight. Areas in yellow could see an additional 1 to 3 inches of rain on already saturated ground, but let's focus in on the red, which includes Louisville, under level 3 out of 4 risk for flash flooding, with localized areas seeing up to 5 inches of rain. The severe threat shifts to the northeast Sunday, damaging wind and hail possible from New York City to Portland, Maine, with some of those storms firing up by sunrise Sunday. And we have to mention the extreme heat building in the central U.S. Warnings from Wichita to St. Louis with heat indices up to 110 on Sunday. Many of these communities hanging on to the heat into the work week. Whit?
A rough week ahead. Danny, thank you. We appreciate it. Now to that deadly explosion that killed 3 Los Angeles County Sheriff's deputies, described as the best of the best. Why investigators are now focusing on an old military grenade found at an apartment complex the day before the blast. Here's ABC's Alex Stone.
Tonight, with the department in mourning, Los Angeles County sheriffs, along with the FBI and ATF, are learning new details about the blast that killed 3 of their own.
This is, unfortunately, the largest loss of life for us as the LA County Sheriff's Department since 1857.
Agents now searching this residence in Santa Monica, where sources say the bomb squad picked up a device on Thursday that they did not believe was capable of exploding.
The bomb squad went into the parking garage and recovered several grenades.
Well, that device, an old military grenade, according to one law enforcement official, was being moved at bomb squad headquarters in East LA on Friday. There was a blast.
It appears LA County Sheriff's deputies from the bomb squad were pulling something on a cart. That's what it looks like to us. There was an explosion.
The 3 members of the LA County Sheriff's Department killed, detectives Joshua Kelly Eklund, Victor Lemus, and William Osborne, had been working at the department for a combined 74 years. They leave behind 16 children between them. Their bodies moved to the medical examiner's office in a long procession with their colleagues saluting.
If you're familiar with our Special Enforcement Bureau, they're the best of the best.
And what we're learning tonight, the ATF's elite national response team, expert investigators, have just arrived here in Los Angeles to begin looking into the circumstances that led to this tragedy. Whit?
Alex Stone, thank you. Now to Washington and the White House facing mounting bipartisan pressure to release documents related to the Jeffrey Epstein case. We're also learning new details about the letter the Wall Street Journal says Trump allegedly wrote to Epstein. The president saying the letter doesn't exist, now filing a $10 billion defamation lawsuit. Here's ABC's senior White House correspondent, Selina Wang.
Tonight, President Trump pushing back, acknowledging his administration's move to unseal grand jury records in the case of convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein may never be enough to satisfy his critics. Trump writing on social media, even if the court gave its full and unwavering approval, nothing will be good enough for the troublemakers and radical left lunatics making the request. It will always be more, more, more. But much of the pressure to do more is coming from some of the president's longtime supporters.
I want every email from Epstein. Why not? Why not? Oh, it might embarrass people. I don't care. Don't care. We don't care now anymore. We're done.
Releasing the grand jury transcripts could be a long process and would not fulfill his team's campaign promises to release the full FBI files on Epstein.
The public is not clamoring for the release of a redacted version of the grand jury transcripts. They're calling for the release of the entire file.
Epstein died by suicide in jail in 2019, shortly after his arrest on charges of sex trafficking and sexual abuse. Many of Trump's allies, including his FBI director Kash Patel and his deputy Dan Bongino, pushed Epstein conspiracies for years.
I don't trust any story they tell me about Jeffrey Epstein. There is a reason this client list is hidden.
Earlier this year, Attorney General Pam Bondi said she had that list. Then just weeks ago, the Justice Department and FBI said the list did not exist and that they would not release any more information about Epstein, sparking outrage from the president's base. Trump gave the order to his Justice Department to release the grand jury transcripts just hours after the Wall Street Journal reported on a letter Trump allegedly sent Epstein for his birthday in 2003. ABC News has not confirmed the existence of the letter. Trump is now filing a $10 billion defamation lawsuit against the paper, including its conservative owner Rupert Murdoch. In the lawsuit, Trump alleges the Journal falsely claimed that he authored, drew, and signed a letter to Epstein containing salacious language within a hand-drawn naked woman, which was created with a heavy marker, and that no authentic letter or drawing exists. Dow Jones, the parent company of the Wall Street Journal, says they are standing by their reporting.
But Whit, it's going to be a while until the public sees any new information on this case. Grand jury testimonies are highly protected, and releasing them requires approval from a federal judge. Whit?
Selina Wang at the White House, thank you. And tune into This Week tomorrow morning. Martha Raddatz speaks with Republican Congressman Tim Burchett about growing calls on Capitol Hill for the Justice Department to release all of the Jeffrey Epstein case files. We move overseas now to the U.S.-backed ceasefire in Syria. Hundreds are dead after a week of intense gun battles in the streets, and a close call for British broadcasters caught in a clash between fighters. The proposed ceasefire comes after Israel launched several rounds of airstrikes in Damascus. Here's ABC's Patrick Reevell.
Chaotic gun battles raging in southern Syria tonight. For days, Arab tribal fighters and Druze militia battling each other in the city of Suwaida. A Sky News crew filming these pictures caught in the fire. This, some of the most dangerous sectarian violence since the fall of the Assad regime last year. Hundreds reported killed. This video circulating online showing piles of bodies in a hospital. Earlier this week, Israel intervened, launching several rounds of airstrikes on Damascus. The bombings captured on live TV. Israel saying it was protecting the Druze and demanding government forces withdraw from the south. But the US rebuking Israel, now backing the Syrian government's efforts to establish a ceasefire. President Trump 2 months ago meeting Syria's new leader Ahmed al-Shara, the US anxious now for the country to stabilize.
We've heard tonight from some frightened Druze civilians in Suwaida. They say homes have been burnt and looted. Syria's Interior Ministry tonight says the clashes have now stopped, but this violence underlines how fragile the country still is.
Still a volatile situation there. Patrick Reevell, thank you. Back here in the U.S. and breaking news in that kiss cam moment that set off a social media firestorm. Tech executive Andy Byron resigning today as CEO of Astronomer. Byron, reportedly the man in this video, seen embracing a woman during a Coldplay concert near Boston Wednesday. The pair quickly trying to hide. Coldplay frontman Chris Martin reacted, saying they're either having an affair or just very shy. Astronomer saying in a statement its leaders are expected to set the standard in both conduct and accountability. Byron has not commented publicly. Now to a terrifying midair scare for superstar Katy Perry. A giant butterfly prop she was riding in malfunctioned, dropping towards the crowd as she was flying above concert goers in San Francisco. It's just the latest in a series of close calls at big-name shows. Here's ABC's Morgan Norwood.
Tonight, a terrifying moment in San Francisco. Pop star Katy Perry performing midair when her giant butterfly prop malfunctions. Watch as it suddenly drops toward the crowd below. Perry briefly stops singing, then steadying herself before continuing on with the song.
She came over right in front of us and all of a sudden just dropped. And when that happened, my heart literally sunk because that was not the expectation at all. We were scared for her. We were scared for the fans that were also below her.
It's not the first time the singer has suffered a scary malfunction. Last month in Australia, Perry clinging to this large metal sphere as it tipped to one side. And with summer tours soaring, artists taking bigger risks to connect with fans, even in the upper deck. R&B artist Chris Brown left hanging midair during a performance at Newark's Prudential Center, and a similar midair malfunction at Beyonce's sold-out Cowboy Carter tour stop in Houston. Her flying red car tilting, suspended over thousands of fans as she performed her song 16 Carriages.
Stop, 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 stop.
And with Katy Perry was not injured in last night's incident, but certainly these high-flying stunts are raising new questions tonight about concert safety, not just for the performers, but for those thousands of fans below. Whit?
Morgan Norwood, thank you. There's much more ahead on World News Tonight this Saturday. An emergency in the air. Scary images from a Delta jet just seconds after takeoff. And chaos at a German fair. Low-flying fireworks send attendees scrambling. Next tonight, more fallout from an HBCU student's death in an alleged hazing incident. Louisiana Southern University expelling a chapter of Omega Psi Phi fraternity from campus. A disciplinary panel finding the frat responsible in the incident, which led to Caleb Wilson's death. Police say the junior was repeatedly punched in the chest during a February hazing incident. 3 people facing charges now. No comment on the expulsion from the fraternity's national office. And startling video of a fire on a packed airliner. Flames shoot from the left engine of an Atlanta-bound Delta 767. You can see the flames there. The fire happening yesterday, moments after takeoff from LAX. The plane carrying 235 people turned around and made an emergency landing. No injuries reported. Delta saying the engine had an issue. Both the airline and FAA now investigating. When we come back, we head to Indianapolis for a preview of the WNBA All-Star Game. To the index now, and panic in Germany as fireworks go out of control. At least 19 people hurt in Dusseldorf yesterday, 4 seriously. Authorities saying some of the explosives flew too close to the ground. Police say a child was among the injured. The event, the largest fair on Germany's Rhine River. Tonight, the WNBA showing off its best. The annual All-Star Game in Indianapolis, airing live on ABC later tonight. Christian Cordero is at Gainbridge Fieldhouse with a preview. Hey, Christian.
We are getting ready for tip-off here in Gainbridge Fieldhouse. It is going to be a packed arena tonight, watching these stars shine. And this is, of course, the home court for Caitlin Clark, who was one of 3 All-Stars sidelined with injuries tonight. It comes as the league's expansion has packed a record number of games into the WNBA season. Clark will captain her team from the bench, cheering them on, while counterpart and MVP candidate Nafisa Collier will suit up and try to lead her team to victory. Tonight's game, the main event in a weekend full of women's hoops. New York Liberty players Sabrina Ionescu and Natasha Cloud brought home big wins last night during the 3-point contest and skills challenge. 2 of many moments for the highlight reel. We will see what these athletes have in store for us tonight. With the All-Star Game tips off at 8:30 Eastern on ABC. Whit.
Looking forward to it, Christian. Thank you. Still ahead here, the special anniversary and the birthday party at the happiest place on earth. Finally tonight, the special anniversary, and a California man continues his lifelong Disneyland tradition.
It's 7:30 in the morning in Monrovia, California, and Doyle Johnson's 3 grown children have a surprise for his 70th birthday.
Happy birthday!
What are you doing, Rocky? You gotta change shirts, Doyle.
A custom t-shirt for the occasion marking Doyle's big day, and Zach, Sarah, and Josh presenting their father with a special gift, tickets to Disneyland, also celebrating its 70th birthday the very same day. That's right, Doyle was born on July 17, 1955, when the happiest place on earth first opened its doors in Anaheim, California. And the theme park has been a big part of his life ever since. The tradition started when his parents took him there on his 10th birthday in 1965. He later celebrated his 40th and 50th birthdays at Disneyland.
When I stepped into Disneyland for my 70th birthday, it's like I became that 10-year-old boy again.
And tonight, Doyle reflecting on that birthday celebration he'll never forget.
Happy birthday, dear Doyle. I'm going to be 10 forever.
Happy birthday. What a treat. I'm Whit Johnson in New York. Have a great night.
David Muir, the most watched newscast in America. And now, ABC's World News Tonight has won the Emmy for Best Live News Program for the 3rd year in a row.